to 1.40. Ekadhamma Sutta. And see, it says Suttas, it's in plural. So from 21 all the way to 40, there are 20 Suttas, all on the similar lines. Yeah. He gave this talk 20 times in different ways, slightly different language. That is why they were very clearly noted down as 20 suttas. But the wisdom behind all 20 is the same. Yeah? It is regarding the importance of developing the mind. And the name of the sutta in English is A Single Thing. Ekadhamma Sutta. A single thing. First I'll read the sutta and then I will explain this table. In this sutta there are two sections. Section number 1 is unwieldy and section number 2 is untamed. What is he talking about? He's talking about the quality of the mind. Unwieldy mind is a very scattered mind that is not manageable. It's not steady, cannot be steadied easily. It's not really pliant, it's not really well governed. It's just all over the place. That's the meaning of being unwieldy. So we'll begin with the first section. Because I do not see even one other thing that when undeveloped is so unwieldy as the mind. An undeveloped mind is unwieldy. So now if you look at the table, I have put undeveloped mind is unwieldy, and on the other side I put developed mind is wieldy. Do you see that? Yeah, so for every line of the sutta there is an entry in the table. So for this particular line that we just read out is undeveloped leads to an unwieldy mind. Second line is because I do not see even one other thing that when developed is so wieldy as the mind. A developed mind is wieldy. A mind which is developed means mature. It has understood about itself, it's understood about the body, and it's understood about the world through its own experience. That is very important. It has matured naturally. That is the meaning of development. So a developed mind means that which has matured naturally through its own experience of understanding the body, the mind and the world. An undeveloped mind is that which refused to mature or didn't have the capacity to mature. We don't know. That is the undeveloped mind, that which did not mature from its experience of the body, mind and the world. Third line is very important. Because I do not see even one other thing that when undeveloped leads to such great harm as the mind. An undeveloped mind leads to great harm. Do you see where this entire sutta is going? He's going to show you what leads to harm and suffering and what is beneficial, means what is good for you and brings happiness. So he says an undeveloped mind, there's nothing like that can be as harmful as an undeveloped mind. So this is the chance and opportunity for you to look at your own mind and see, have I matured naturally? What is the meaning of maturing naturally? I understand from experiences, I understand from being aware of how this body functions, I understand how my mind functions, and I have again and again worked to make the mind manageable. It is not resistant to witnessing. It is not resistant to negative experiences. Whatever comes, the mind is pliant. Pliant means how it can adjust according to a situation. It is strong in that situation. It does not break. It is mature enough and capable enough to understand the body, mind, and the world. So this is time for introspection. Can I claim that my mind is a developed mind? That's for you to see. Have I matured from experiences? What does he say? An undeveloped mind is one that can lead to the greatest harm. Moving ahead. Because I do not see even one other thing that when undeveloped and unmanifested leads to such great harm as the mind. The mind, when undeveloped and unmanifested, leads to great harm. Unmanifested sounds like a very big word. It's very simple. If my mind has not developed, am I at least open to training it? If I'm open to training it, I am ready to embrace something new, get out of my comfort zone. This means that I have a manifested mind. That which can be brought into awareness is the meaning of manifested mind. You've seen people, you tell them, even if you tell them science, something that has been proven by science, and they are so rigid in their undeveloped nature, they will say, I don't care, I don't believe in science. Why? Because the mind is very rigid. I'm just giving you a simple example. I'm giving you an example from Friends, the show, TV show Friends. Ross tells Phoebe, you don't believe in evolution? Phoebe says, no, I don't. But that's scientifically proven. Oh, that we were monkeys, our ancestors were monkeys? No, it cannot be true. So that is a rigid mind. A rigid mind, how much ever you talk about the witnessing awareness field, how much ever you speak about shunyata, how much ever you speak about taking the vows and following a holy or pious path, that rigid mind is rigid, no? It refuses to accept. And you know such people in your own waking projection. So you know who I'm talking about? Yes. That kind of a mind is an unmanifested mind. Means it's not possible only for them to come into awareness or to come to a level of training the mind. Training is not possible for such people because they are completely rigid in their ideas. Unmanifested is very clear. Time to look within, not to blame others in the waking projection. Time to look within. Do I carry a manifested mind? Is my mind such that it can be brought forth into awareness? Or is it rigid in its beliefs, in its conditioning, in its ideas? Clear? So I'll read that part. Because I do not see even one other thing that when developed and manifested leads to such great good as the mind. You're already developed and mature, and now you're even open to learning something new. Means what? You have the humility, your mind has the humility to say, yes, I don't know everything. Do you recognize this difference between you and a rigid mind? A rigid mind says, I know it all, don't try to teach me. A pliant mind, a soft mind says, yes, possible, I don't know everything. So it is ready to learn and move ahead. Yeah, that is what he's talking about. Developed and manifested. Time to look again within. Can I claim that my mind is both developed and manifested? Then you know you are moving towards the greater good. Next line. Bhikkhu, because I do not see even one other thing that when undeveloped and uncultivated leads to such great harm as the mind. The mind, when undeveloped and uncultivated, leads to great harm. What is uncultivated? Means that which cannot be trained. A mind that is so rigid, obviously that mind is closed. If that mind is closed, will that mind ever expose itself to training and learning something higher? No, it is happy with whatever little it knows. Yeah. So that is the issue with an uncultivated mind. Yeah. It actually brings a lot of suffering, he says in the next line. Moving on to the next line. Because I do not see even one other thing that when undeveloped and uncultivated brings such suffering as the mind. The mind, when undeveloped and uncultivated, brings suffering. Following sentence talks about what brings happiness. Because I do not see even one other thing that when developed and cultivated brings such happiness as the mind. The mind, when developed and cultivated, brings happiness. Again, time for self-introspection. Please don't start pointing fingers at people in your waking projection. No. The wisdom is not for them. It is for me. Can I look within and figure out, is my mind developed? Is it a manifested mind? And number 3, if not cultivated yet, is my mind open for training or open for cultivation? That is what we are doing, no? When we are taking the vows. It's nothing but training. Okay, in the past I was ignorant. I had some goof-ups. But now I'm ready. I'm pliant and I'm ready to take the vows. I'm ready to break that ignorance that I had in the past and transform it into wisdom. That is the meaning of a cultivated mind, that which finally gets fully trained. So that brings us to the end of the first section, which means you have to ask yourself the question, do I have a wieldy mind or an unwieldy mind? All these 3 fall under the unwieldy section. Do you see that? Yeah. So ask yourself the question, is my mind wieldy or unwieldy? Yeah. Is my mind developed or undeveloped? Is my mind manifested or unmanifested? Is my mind cultivated or uncultivated? Not cultivated. If not cultivated yet, I have not done much training. Am I open to training? Can I embrace training? Am I open to cultivation? Yeah. This is the most important thing to recognize. Do I have that kind of a mind? This will help you decide whether you should continue with Buddha or not. Yeah. Buddha's path you're seeing is a path of strict discipline. It begins only with the vows, begins with Shila. If you don't adhere to Shila, Samadhi is not going to happen. Then how much ever you sit in Samadhi, 5 hours or 50 hours, Samadhi is not happening because the mind is unwieldy. Yeah, the mind is not open to get trained. The mind is rigid. And a rigid mind is very agitated, restless all the time, cannot attain serenity even for a few minutes in Samadhi. And then the Buddha's path doesn't work. Yeah? So this is the time for you to do a thorough introspection. I have done 4 sessions of the Buddha. I have understood how disciplined the Shila section of this path is. I have also done an Anapana online weekend retreat, learned Anapana. Now is the time I have to make the decision. Yeah. Is Buddha's path for me, or do I need a little more time to make the unwieldy mind wieldy? Yeah. This is the time to make that decision. And not just unwieldy and wieldy is the criteria. The second criteria is the mind tamed or is it untamed? Yeah, that is the section 2 of this sutta. Let's go to the section 2, untamed. Because I do not see even one other thing that when untamed leads to such great harm as the mind. An untamed mind leads to great harm. Similarly, the opposite, what leads to great good? Because I do not see even one other thing that when tamed leads to such great good as the mind. A tamed mind leads to great good. Yeah. By taming, he means discipline. Taming does not mean suppression. Very important on the Buddha's path, there is no suppression. There is clear discipline. And how is the discipline established? Not on rules laid down by the Buddha, not on rules laid down by others or religions or a path. It is simply by one simple thing, Vedana. If I feel a pinch or a punch at a single thought, at a single action or speech, that of course came out of my mouth. I'm not talking about other speech, my speech. If I feel a pinch or a punch, it means it was unwholesome. Very simple principle, very straightforward principle. It is not laid down by another and I do not have to follow another. My own inner conscience pinches me when I do wrong. Does everybody recognize when a pinch happens? Are you aware enough? Is everyone sharp enough to recognize that? Superb. Now those who didn't raise their hands, you have 1 week to figure out, do I feel the pinch from within? Do I understand what she means by the pinch? Yeah? Conscience pricks me when I do something wrong. Conscience pricks me when I speak something wrong. Yeah? Conscience pricks me even before doing a wrong action. Even if I just think about doing the wrong action, from inside I feel a pinch, a punch. Yeah? Those who are have a little scientific background, you will see the catecholamines, they are hormones, the unhappy hormones get released into the whole body and you have this pokey feeling throughout the body. Immediately when you have an ill will thought, a hatred thought, an angry thought, or a thought of attacking somebody else, doing wrong to somebody else or speaking wrong. Do you recognize that? Are you sensitive enough to understand what is Vedana, what he's talking about? Only if you are sensitive enough should you even begin this path. Yeah? If you're not sensitive, if you don't have that inner sensitivity, then you need to work on making the mind wieldy and taming the mind. Yeah? It's too rigid. That means if you didn't even recognize the inner pinch until now. Okay? So this week is the decision week. Yeah, I have taught you enough Shila Suttas to give you an entire background about how Buddha's path of discipline has been laid down. Yeah? Shila, I gave you an idea. Now it is up to you. Please make that decision this week. That is Buddha's path for me, and is my mind soft enough to recognize this inner pinch? Do I recognize that pokey, unhappy feeling, not so good feeling, just at the thought of doing a wrong action or saying something mean, hurtful, harmful? Yeah? If I have the sensitivity, then only should I move ahead on the Buddha's path. Okay, otherwise you will not understand Vedana. The next sutta is on Vedana. You will be totally, you will not get it at all. Yeah, so this week is to focus. Do I understand what she means by Vedana? Do I understand what she means by that pokey feeling throughout the body? This is the way Ekta explains it. Yeah, you might explain it in a different way. Yeah, what do you feel? Write to me this week. Yes, whenever I have a negative thought or I say something wrong or hurtful, I do feel this. Explain to me what you really feel. I need to know whether you really understand Vedana. Vedana in Hindi, which is the language of most of the people there, is only unpleasant sensation in Hindi. But in the Pali language, it is for both pleasant as well as unpleasant sensation. So please make a note, the Hindi speaking people, that Vedana means both pleasant and unpleasant feeling or sensation. Both are together under the same umbrella on the Buddha's path. Clear? So if you recognize that my mind is not tamed enough, maybe take one more year and join Gurukul next year. Time to make a decision. Moving on with the sutta. Bhikkhus, I do not see even one other thing that when unguarded leads to such great harm as the mind. An unguarded mind leads to great harm. Now what does he mean by unguarded? What do I need to guard my mind from? Yeah, it's like my mind has just taken the vows. Yeah, and it's fresh. It's just been few weeks. Yeah, you don't even have the first sprout coming out from the vows. Do you recognize that? It's just your first month with the vows. And a family member comes and laughs at you. Hey, so funny. In this century, you're talking about 2500 years ago. That's when people took vows. What are you doing? Yeah, and then something inside you shifts and says it's okay to be wrong because he or she is wrong. Do you see that happening? Yeah. This means you had not guarded your mind from somebody in your own waking projection, and you know who they are. I don't need to know their names. You know you have projected certain people who are going to come and poke you about you attempting to walk the spiritual path. Do you recognize this? Yes, am I right? There are such people. Those are the people you have to guard your mind from. And there is another sutta, I have mentioned it earlier where Buddha talks about 20 types of people that you need to really guard yourself from. Yeah, those who've done that sutta, you already have the details. Others, you know, whoever in your environment makes you get into false speech. Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to guard myself from this. Yeah, you know, whoever in your environment pushes you to do something wrong. It's okay to cheat. They will never find out. Oh, I need to guard my mind from exposure to this person's mind. You don't have to tell him, oh, your mind is unwieldy and my mind is wieldy. You are untamed and I am tamed. No, please don't go that way. That's not what Ekta is saying. Ekta is saying you quietly guard yourself from that mind. Very important pointer. If you remember the last sutta that I did, in that Buddha said that somebody who delights in company has no possibility of even a temporary liberation. Do you recognize that? If you recognize that and you know there are such elements in your environment, I should guard my mind from somebody who delights in company too much. Because just chit chat, it's okay. We're just doing simple chit chat, and there you start and you don't know where to stop. You slip away. So now you need to figure out, these are the people in my environment who delight in company and have the capacity to pull me away from my silence. So I need to again guard my mind from this mind. You do not have to tell him or her anything. Guarding is your responsibility, not his or her responsibility. Do you see that? Yeah. It is completely your responsibility. So there is no need to start teaching others. I need to be vigilant on this path. Okay. So that's what he said about the unguarded mind. It leads to great harm. And what happens to a guarded mind? Because I do not see even one other thing that when guarded leads to such great good as the mind. A guarded mind leads to great good. So this will be the main work for you this week. Ask yourself the question, what elements are there in my environment, whether people, situations or things, that I must guard my mind from? And you've taken your vows, open your only sheet, figure out, okay, these are the vows I have taken. Everybody's taken a different number of vows. Yeah, look at your own vows and think, who in my environment can take me away from this beautiful vow that I've taken? Who in my environment will encourage me to break this vow? That's how you figure out, okay, now I know these people, I know these elements. Yeah, it can be a habit pattern also. It doesn't have to be people. It can be a habit pattern of overindulgence, just indulging in something that you love to eat, or overindulgence in shopping, overindulgence going to parties. I don't know. You know. Yeah? You figure out what it could be that could make you break that vow. What is it that I need to guard my mind from? Very important. And warning, it's going to be very challenging for you, especially if it is a family member, especially if it is very close relatives or friends. Yeah? It's going to be challenging, but that's what is the Buddha's path about. Yeah, it is about strong Shila. Ask yourself, am I really committed to Buddha's path? Am I committed to strong Shila? Very important to ask yourself. Okay? That is guarded mind. Yeah? Guarded is very clear. Whose responsibility? Mine, not somebody else's. So I don't go out and start preaching and teaching others. This wisdom is for me. I need to figure out a way how I am going to guard my mind. Now we go to the next very important pointer. Because I do not see even one other thing that when unprotected leads to such great harm as the mind. An unprotected mind leads to great harm. And the next one I'll read as well. Because I do not see even one other thing that when protected leads to such great good as the mind. A protected mind leads to great good. So, only if you guard your mind can it become protected. Guarding leads to protection. Do you recognize this? Yeah. If I have not guarded my mind from the negative elements in my environment, then it is unprotected. Yeah. So guarding leads to protection. So how do I ensure that I have a protected mind? I have filtered out all those people who can make me break my vows. I have filtered out all those people, all those habits, compulsive reactions that force me, that compel me to break my vows. I have filtered out all events that can again make my mind wild and uncultivated, indisciplined. This protected mind is a very stable mind. Very stable means however difficult the situations are that life brings its way, because it is so protected and that stability has developed in it, it will not shake easily. It will be able to take all the rigors of life. Clear? So protection comes from guarding. If I have guarded well, I will have a protected mind. And I'll give you a little hint. If your mind is soft, a soft mind, Saumya is the word in Sanskrit. If you have a soft mind, a Saumya Manaha, that means you have a well protected mind. You had protected it from all negativities in life. Which means just because some difficult situation came my way, I didn't become bitter. I was supple and pliant enough to deal with the difficulty and still maintain my inner softness, inner happiness. Yes, so that is a clue. Is my mind well protected or not? Now this is something that you can ask yourself. Do I have a soft mind or do I have a bitter mind? How will you know? A soft mind smiles easily, is mostly happy, relaxed, comfortable, even in the most difficult situations, finds a way to relax and smile. A bitter mind is constantly complaining. Do you recognize that? It's not so bad. Everything is okay, even if it's not hunky-dory. Everything is okay, but a bitter mind will complain even about that which is okay. Do you recognize that? You become bitter inside. You become harsh, stone-like. Yeah? There's no softness. So you recognize. You ask yourself, do I have a Saumya Manaha? A soft mind? That means I did a good job protecting my mind even in difficult situations. But if I have a very bitter mind, I didn't do a good job. Yeah? How can I get a Saumya Manaha, a soft mind? How can I protect my mind? Then I go back up. Oh, there are these elements to guard from. Yeah? This I have not guarded. To be able to guard, I have to take certain vows and then stick to them, and then come what may, not to move from these vows. That is taming the mind. Do you see that? How one goes into the other, one leads to the other. So Buddha is very clear. If you don't have a soft mind, you will not be able to see anything in samadhi. It's not going to happen. You'll be just frustrated with samadhi sessions. Why? Because you've not softened your mind enough. Very important. Yeah. And again, another hint. How will I know I've done a good job softening the mind? You sit in samadhi, 10-15 minutes, of course, because you came from the world and you're a grahastha, you're still thinking about what you spoke to somebody or what you did. In 10, 15, 20 minutes, everything settles down and boof, you're at thoughtlessness. If you don't get to thoughtlessness in 10-15 minutes, it means the mind is not soumya, not soft enough. Yeah. So that's how you gauge yourself. Okay, can I work on it? And then that's what Buddha gave. You start with Anapana Sati Samadhi. Just observe the breath. By observing, simply observing, not rhythmizing, not manipulating, not saying it is going in, it is going out, it is long. No commentary. Nobody asked you to be a narrator. Simply observe. Just being the witness of the breath, observing. A point will come when the breath will slow down, almost disappear. Yes, and only you will be left alone. Yeah, so Anapana was a way to soften the mind and take you there. But he gave a caveat. He said it will not work. Anapana will not work if you continue to complain, continue to be cruel and mean and do unwholesome actions and unwholesome thinking, thoughts, ill will, hatred. It's not going to work. He said you must set aside all this. I've done it enough and I've realized this only brings suffering. Suffering to me, my mind, not about others. I'm done with this and now I take strict vows so that I become quieter inside. And that's how you judge yourself. Nobody else is going to judge you. You judge yourself. In 15 minutes of Anapana, could I get to a point where I was thoughtless for a little while? Yeah? Thoughtlessness is an important milestone. So, I gave you the tips on protected mind. Once your mind is protected, then only can you say that I have a mind that is well restrained. Yeah? We'll read that ahead and then we'll go deeper into it. Because I do not see even one other thing that when unrestrained leads to such harm as the mind, and unrestrained mind leads to great harm. Because I do not see even one other thing that when restrained leads to such great good as the mind. A restrained mind leads to great good. Yeah? Means what is the great good that comes out of restrained mind? Means it is regulated. It's not just all over the place. It does not react compulsively. It does not just follow habit patterns. It's really watchful. It filters out. It's able to protect itself. It is stable. Yeah? It is fully governed by itself. Yeah? Very composed mind. That is the meaning of restrained mind. Yeah? Those who are in the other Gurukul, we spoke about being able to mentally dismiss negativity. Yeah? Simply by mentally pressing and control alt delete, and you dismiss the negativity. Yeah? It's like dismissing negative samskaras. I recognize, oh, this is my old habit pattern. It's coming from that old habit pattern. Yes, and I have the power to mentally dismiss it just by the power of attention, by acute observation. How will you reach this level of mentally dismissing negativity? Only if you have a restrained mind. Clear? So these are little hints. How do I know I got there? How do I know my mind is regulated? How do I know my mind is well composed? How do I know my mind is fully governed? How do I know? I have the capacity to mentally delete that negative pattern that comes out from my past samskaras, and I know it, I recognize it. So again, question to ask yourself, do I have a restrained mind yet? If not, then I need to get to protected mind. If it's not restrained, means it's not protected well. Not protected well means what? Not guarded well. Oh, it's an unguarded mind. I need to guard. Yeah? So that means I need to tame it with some discipline. Yeah? And that the vows will do. Take the vows and stick to them. And then take whatever action is required to adhere by those vows, come what may. Yeah? That brings us to the last part. Because I do not see even one other thing that when untamed, unguarded, unprotected and unrestrained leads to such great harm as the mind. The mind when untamed, unguarded, unprotected and unrestrained leads to great harm. He brought all of them together from the second section. Because I do not see even one other thing that when tamed, guarded, protected and restrained leads to such great good as the mind. The mind when tamed, guarded, protected and restrained leads to great good. And the good is not good in the world. Yeah, we are not talking about doing good to others. It's about doing good to myself. Last part. Have you come to that point where you recognize that I suffer when my mind is indisciplined? It's not about others. Do you recognize that? Yes. If you do, then only can you follow this sutta. If you don't recognize that, then maybe take some time, work on yourself, maybe join Gurukul next year. Yeah? Or maybe Buddha's path is too difficult, too disciplined for you. Maybe you should join Advaita Vedanta next year, Ashtavakra. So we've had 4 people already drop out from Gurukul for different reasons. Whatever the reasons are, I don't need to know the reasons. If you want to follow suit, I wanted to give you this opportunity. Feel free to drop out. Yeah, it's very important on the Buddha's